Okay, I think we will start our webinar. Our guest speaker today is Pedro Dias. Pedro is ex-Google. Well, not every day we can. Wow, Pedro, I guess Pedro, you already have a crown here. Not every day we can talk to somebody who works for Google or who worked for Google. Or I have to admit, I never did. So we have today this opportunity. Pedro is not with Google now. Pedro is a online consultant. He is from Brazil, but okay, Pedro is smiling here and there. Okay. So, guys, we have Pedro. Somebody who's not particularly familiar with a procedure, you can ask questions, Pedro, straightforward. You have a chat line. I guess everybody found chat line already. If Pedro think he can answer it straightforward, he will. If he doesn't think this way, he will answer it later at the end. But you feel free to ask questions. Pedro, if it's not correct, you can correct me. And I guess we're gonna go. So Pedro is all yours.
Oh, thank you, Anton. So let's see if my presentation works. Can everyone see my presentation? Yeah. All right. So I decided to bring this topic because it applies not only to affiliates but to most businesses that want to survive online nowadays. Mostly of the affiliation tends to be uh, an intermediary of someone else's product. So you are selling someone else's product. And this as the extra needed that you position yourself in a way that you are seen not only by Google but as by users of having added value and value enough to subsist as a business in Google. Next slide. So I worked for 5 years and a half in Google search quality in Ireland. I was responsible for the quality of results for the Portuguese language market. Prior to that, before Google, I worked for 7 years in advertising and design, usability, and so on. And I'm originally from Portugal, and then I moved to Brazil after I left Google. Brazil is a bigger online market than Portugal, so I decided to come here and explore the opportunities. So again, going back to the topic, enough about me. Google is here to disintermediate. What does this mean? Disintermediate is to approach the producer to the consumer. Approaching, obviously, this approach is to take away the middleman, which in the past had a very little or added value in the transaction. So when the middleman has no added value, it's just adding an extra expense to the transaction. So you must think that you should position yourself, if you want to be a business or an affiliate, as someone that adds value in the middle. Will it be in the form of knowledge? Either you have an extra knowledge that you want to add, or a differentiated experience that you want to present your users with. Google used to battle a lot with affiliations that had low added value in the past. And actually, nowadays, you need always to add added value to any business that you have online. Many people hold the wrong premises that affiliation is just showing up an exposition, and it is not. You need to add an extra value to your business. Otherwise, you're not gonna do well. Like this is an example, for example, of kind of uh, affiliation that has no added value for Google. It's kind of automated. It's just pulled from known websites. And one thing that you should look at it is, why would Google present an affiliation instead of the original product to the user? Um, so you must focus on quality and adding value to your product. And do you really think this affiliation would bring any kind of added value? So I'm going to go in detail on then after what I think you need to position yourself in order to survive. So what can you do? When I say to survive in Google, you should really interpret this as to survive as a business and not just in Google. Google pushes improvement and forces people out of their comfort zone. Affiliations or intermediations tend to be very close to their comfort zone and often don't like very much to be disrupted. But Google is here to disrupt, like I said in the beginning, to disintermediate. So in order, if you want to survive as a business and in Google, you must bring something else to the table. Oops, I did hear something I didn't want to, sorry. The next one. So, yeah. So one of the points that you must bring to the table is to be relevant and specific and avoid dispersion. Another point is to be unique. Talks about something that you hold knowledge and authority on the topic. Be usable. Have a site that is focused on usability and having a good experience for the user, that is differentiated from most services that users are tired. And sometimes, for example, in the airplane tickets, many of the it's an awful experience to buy airplane tickets in the original site of the airplane operator. So many this a good opportunity to that many players explore to bring a better experience to this niche. Um, Another point that you have to consider, and you should only work in affiliation, is that if you can be profitable. Obviously, this is valid for any business. Um, and then you have to bring value. Uh, and I'm going to go into detail in each of these points now in the next slides. So don't despair. And I want to do an association here so it's more clear to the what Google holds as their values. So you understand how the values of Google map to the values of what an affiliation should have. For example, one of the values of Google is to do one thing really, really well, like mapping to what I said before. Be relevant and specific. Avoid dispersion. What does this mean? This means that you should not embrace everything. You should focus on one thing that you do really well and try to focus on that, polish that to the maximum that you can, and explore that. When you want to do many things at the same time, usually you lose focus and quality goes down the drain. So you should choose something that you really like and you do without effort. Um, Also, in the market of affiliation, there are more affiliation programs every day, more verticals, more choices. This should be seen as opportunities for specialization, not as just more things that you can add to your site to be an affiliate of. So If you already have a specialization, stick to that one, or try to be on the same vertical niche and specialize in something that you do really well instead of trying to be broad and thin. The best vertical is always the one that you are passionate about. So many people think, oh, I want to do some affiliation business, but I don't know which vertical to choose. Which is the best vertical that I should work? Well, the best vertical is the one that you are passionate about, the one that we will do and we will work on without feeling that you are doing something that you don't like or it's a burden to you. Also, you should always have a focus on quality versus quantity. You must choose one of the paths. The if you the one each path that you choose is inversional proportional to the other one. So you want in affiliation and as a business, you want to have a controlled and planned growth. You don't want to grow in a way that you don't control. Usually this goes out as lack of uh, quality, and this is not something that you want to let go of. Uh, if you choose a broader vertical, for example, if you sell, let's say you sold chocolates before and now you want to sell sweets in general, you must improve quality. You must always focus on improving quality. That should be your main focus. Um, if you increase quantity, increase the quality as well. Should not be, they should not go separated. Um, remember, success doesn't come easily, and there is no easy success. Um, every specialist and expert was once a hungry beginner. So study and become a specialist in things that you really like. Quality requires knowledge and acknowledgement from other people around you. So, and people learn by sharing. Another example from Google's values, the need for information crosses all borders. And what I said before, be unique. So complement experiences of other people. How can you contribute to the knowledge of other people? Most of the people around you are either your target because they want knowledge or because they want to buy your product. Um, People like to be surprised by knowledge. So sometimes we have knowledge about things that we might consider that is trivial, but we don't consider that other people might not know it. For example, how many times, I don't know if it happened to you, it happened to me several times, that I find something that my phone does by accident. And it's something that was hidden and I didn't know it before. And sometimes I tell it to someone else and I get surprised because they didn't know it either. And then everyone, and suddenly it's something that nobody knew because it was so hidden that nobody knew that it worked like that. Um, so sometimes even the more trivial things that you think that are, this is something that I know, but probably also everybody knows. Oh, just go ahead and talk about it, give your perspective because it will have a different point of view. Um, I'm going to bring you here a good example of an affiliation that is in a niche that is very exploited, which is price comparison. The price comparison niche is one of the affiliation niches that is very competitive. And one of the sites that I like to point out is this Find the Best website. I'm not judging or commenting on what they do as SEO nowadays or their architecture and their decisions. I'm just talking about what they brought to the market on a niche that was oversaturated. They had the vision to bring a different approach. They solved a bunch of problems and focused on what users most wanted for price comparison. Um, Price comparisons often have too much irrelevant info, like beyond the price. They have the price, and then they have the description, the title, and they sometimes they try to come out and put out a bunch of text that nobody wants to read. Um, uh, Find the Best, they try to solve this problem in a way that They could put out content, but you don't really have to read it to understand it. This is just an example that not all content is text. Text is okay, but I mean, users and human beings, we are mostly visual creatures. So we will always prefer to interpret something by looking at it than to go ahead and read the instructions. Nobody wants to read the instructions manual. Everybody wants to figure out how things work. In the price comparison, these guys kind of found a way to bring all this information that was buried in text and technical specifications as a visual way to represent it. You don't have to be editorial in a site that is supposed to be transactional. Um, so they kind of solve this problem in a very nice way. Um, so you have to make the life of the user easier. Um, do you want the user to read 5 paragraphs of text in a e-commerce site or in a price comparison site? Probably not. You want them to buy, but you want them to understand your content. So in a price comparison as an e-commerce, the user already knows what he's going to buy. He just wants an overview of the information that he can get. He doesn't want to spend time reading stuff. Um, and we still, nowadays, in most businesses, we still make this mistake of filling everything with text because we want to have unique content and we want to be relevant. Yeah, it's okay to have unique content and to be relevant, but you have to pass this information to the user in a way that is appropriated for the moment they are in. Um, focus on visual and immediate information. If you don't find a way that helps, you are adding to the problem, not to the solution. Then another value that Google holds: focus on the user, and all else will follow. Like I said before, for the affiliates, be usable. Like you should focus on what everybody is gonna be able to use on your site. Every website owner tends to think that their site is a masterpiece, and we forget sometimes to have a look from someone that is in the outside and or be self-critical of our work. Um, everybody orders more text, everybody wants more links to rank better, to be more relevant to whatever, but we forget the why users will come back to your site. If you are on the first position, if they click on you, and if you are a mess, I'll make sure be sure that next time the user sees your website and recognizes them in the search, they will not be clicking on your result. So you must be focused on being useful and be usable and be friendly to the user. Um, so uh, every mother wants to spare their children, and we try to do that with our websites. And sometimes we fail at improving them because we think that we have the best website and our competitor is not so good, but probably it's not what users want. Um, you have to worry with what your users think of your website and not what uh, what you think of your website. Um, ask people from the outside what do they think of your website. Try to not to be so biased towards it. Um, I want to show, for example, 2 examples from a typical affiliate. For example, discount coupons. One is more uh, friendly and organized. They make it easy to find your coupons and what you want to find in the end, which is the discount, and which are others that are much more clumsy and much more make things more difficult and probably are not so friendly. So, as a user, which one would you prefer? The one that gives you the information in a more straightforward and less complicated way, or the other one that has a lot of information but makes it hard for you to in the end discover what you really came for. um, Another example from the Google perspective is you can make money without doing evil. So you can be profitable and you don't have to come to tricks to be profitable. You don't have to hide that you are an affiliate and that you earn a commission. In this affiliate niche, many affiliates sometimes try to hide that they are affiliates. They want to be perceived as that they are the final product, or they are just like indicating a product without earning any commission, uh, because sometimes what they are using to promote the affiliation as very added value. So you don't need to hide this to your target audience. If you have something to sell to user and you don't want to show it, then something is wrong. Should be something that you should be looking at. Your product, or you selling something as an affiliate, should have an added value as good as much as you don't have to hide it. For example, I found a service some time ago which is called Bust a Name. Bust a Name is a site that appeared like I stumbled onto it like 7 years ago or so, and or 5 years ago, something like this. And they came with a differential for the market. Like, it's very hard to find a good domain name, so they want to help people find good domain names. Um, and they built a system that you can add uh, words and synonyms and stuff that you want your business to be seen as or interpreted as such, and they try to mesh it together to find domain names that are still available by combining those words and those names, because domain is a very selling domains as an affiliate is a very probably low value market if you just do that. But if you do a solution like this where you put together a product that helps users in a different thing, and helping them with a problem that they have, then you'll have probably a good outcome. Of course, I want to also point out the RetailMeNot, which is like I said before, when an example of the site here in Brazil, it helps you. Their differential came with, you will find the discount that nobody else has. So you'll find what you want there, because probably will have it. So they organize and they offer the discounts in a way that you get what you really wanted, even if it's something very obscure. So as a result of that, as a result of having a good organized affiliation, the product sells more, the user is happy, you are happy as an affiliate, and everyone is happy. And of course, in the end, like, this doesn't end here, because affiliation is a very tough, very competitive, and always ongoing, and other competitors are there, and people who do affiliation often try to find inspiration in other affiliate marketers to do the same. So like I said in the beginning, your target audience is not only people that you sell the product, but also people that are looking for knowledge. So you should always aim for having better things. Like, great is just good enough. This is another Google value, and that I map it to the affiliation business. Have a big differential. Having a big differential, um, it's meaning that you should never be happy with second place. Uh, Aspire by being the best in your vertical. Try to be always the best in your vertical. Try to be ahead. And this is very important, because it will make you be recognized, make you be acknowledged, and if you it will be if you operate in one niche, it's not so tough. Like I said in the beginning, if you work in many niches at once, then this might be a more difficult problem to solve. But nevertheless, you should always try to solve it. Um, uh, and understand the needs of people. and try to solve their problems. Another example that I wanted to bring is, as I spoke in the beginning about it, is another example of a good affiliation case, Hipmunk. I don't know if you know it, if you came across it already. Uh, Everybody knows that buying airplane ticket in the official website, airline website, is a horror. Here in Brazil, it is. In Europe, there are fewer better websites. Some start to pay attention to it now, but at the time when Hipmunk came out, most of websites were horrendous. When you try to find how long a flight lasts, how many connections it has, it was very tough to find a cheap flight and a flight that would be uh, enough and comfortable to book. So Hipmunk brought a solution that as a way to display flight information. So they show you which flights, what the flight is, or the airline, the duration of the website, the flight, and how many connections is that flight going to have, if you're going to just stop once, if you're going to change to another airline, if you're going to have 2 stops or 3 stops, and how much that adds or subtracts from the price, and how longer is the trip. So it's a way to sell something by giving the user a different experience, by solving a problem, which was the need for users to swim across a website that it was very hard to use. So I want to consider now a few takeaways. Some things that you, of this presentation, some things that you should hold when you think about creating a business. First, um, you should see your site and your affiliation business, or your business, if you want just to talk about like this, as a product. See it as a product, specialize to it, dedicate to it, fall in love with your product. He is your most precious asset. You don't want to have a very superficial thing that nobody wants to give value to. Second thing, that the second takeaway, solve a problem. Try to solve a problem. Having a business just for having a business is not a good practice here or anywhere, even more if you are an affiliate. You should always try to solve a problem that isn't being solved. What is the problem that I have nowadays doing X or Y or Z? Can I do it in a better way? Yes, I'm going to solve it. Then interact with your users. Make people talk about you. Make sure that people talk about you by good reasons, because if you have a shitty product, if you have a really bad experience, people are going to talk about you for other bad reasons, not for the good reasons that you'd want to. So if you focus on quality, if you focus on all of that we talked before, you're going to have uh, good uh, reason for people to talk about you for good reasons. Um, then you should, something that you should keep for you. Why will Google present your affiliate site instead of the final product? So this is something that you should always have in mind when you are going as building your business as an affiliate. Why would Google show my site instead of the final product? What is the main added value that I add to this that it makes worth for my site to appear above the original? Um, then also, like, what is my differential? What is my value proposition? Is it, and if I have one, is it obvious to my audience? Sometimes people think that they are different, but they are they are not perceived as being different. One thing is that you're thinking that you are different. Another thing is the perception that people have of you, that if you are really different. For example, do you prefer to go to a YouTube concert or going to a show where there is someone else doing a YouTube cover or imitating YouTube? This, of course, musical tastes aside. Um, then you should think like, is my affiliation a mean, or is it an end? Um, so is it something that I use because I want to um, to live from it, or is it something that I do because I want to improve something and it's just something that I like to do? This is very important as well to consider. Um, so I hope this the presentation is not very long. I hope this is like gives you a good overview of what Google sees as having good and added value. And I'm going to be here and open for answering any questions. You can find me on Twitter. That's my handle. If you ask me something, I'll make sure that I will answer. Most of times I'm busy because now I do consulting business as well. I have a company here in Brazil, uh, uh, and I'm gonna try to answer your questions here. So I'm reading through the comments, and the first question that I see here from Anton is, what is your attitude to links? What link building tactics do you use? So uh, unfortunately, the linking market, or people see link building nowadays more as link planting and not so much as link building. Uh, Link building should be seen as you put something out that you solve a user's problem and you get endorsed in the other way. Um, so I know it's difficult, and it's gonna be more difficult. It's not that we are on the beginning of the web anymore. It's hard to get exposition, and you don't have to tackle the problems or face the competitors right on head on. You can go through the sides and try to do what they don't do. If you have a very big competitor, try to do something different. Try to position yourself in a way that that competitor is too big to do, and but really try to find the value. Don't find a little added value, find a good added value. And so links should be seen as something that you want to attract, but you cannot just go and plant them, because that should not be done this way. It's not it's manipulative if you go out and you just plant links on another site pointing to yours. That's self-endorsement, not other people endorsing you. Uh, so you should always think about how can I solve a problem, and how am I going to market this way that I solved this problem so people see it and people will find value on something that I did, and they will feel compelled to link to me. So that's the whole basis of link building. You should see it as attracting eyeballs, not as just go and planting links. Um, Next question. Pedro, without focusing on text, content, and more relevant information, wouldn't I lose rankings? On other hand, is this going to after AdWords, especially in something like coupon websites? So yeah, one thing is having just text. The other thing is not having text at all. You should find a balance. A good thing is, like, when I talk about you don't needing to have just text, it's that what I mean. You don't have to have just text. You should have visual information that complements the text that you have, and that gives the user an alternative to consume your content in a much more comfortable way, in a much more quick way than reading it. And this applies mostly to transactional websites where a user is seeking to buy and not to get informed, because those are two different states of when the user does a search. When either he wants to get information about something or he wants to research, that's a moment. And then The moment that he wants to buy, that's another moment, and he's in another state of mind that he doesn't want to dedicate to read more about something again as extensively as he did in the research part. How to handle this going? How this is going to affect AdWords, especially in something like coupon website? Well, um, it's not, because you are going to have the text there. You're going to have it's like I said, it's just a complement. Maria asks, what about affiliation in Bing? It's the same actually in for any search engine. I'm talking here in Google because uh, it's what people mostly talk about. It's what I have experience of working, and but again, this advice works for Google, for Bing, for Yandex, for Sesnam, for Rambler, for Baidu, for whatever. Um, so it works for your day-to-day life. You have to have an added value. In the past, we used to have that the secret is the soul of the business. Nowadays, there is no secret anymore because everyone has access to information online. So if you rely on very little added value, that is going to be very quickly defeated. Um, do you use link brokers? No, I don't use link brokers. Should I not follow affiliate links on my website? Uh, it's recommended, although Google does a fairly well job in dealing with affiliate links. They kind of manage to recognize them fairly easy. Uh, but if you want to be safe, I recommend that you follow the affiliate links. Is it a good idea to hide affiliate links using JavaScript? Can I use JavaScript to hide affiliate links from Google? Just make sure that those, yeah, I mean, that's going to be visible to both users and Google now because Google's kind of parses JavaScript, most of the JavaScript. So if not something very complicated, you're not going to have any problem with that. You can use JavaScript for affiliate links. Um, does Google have any special penalties for gambling topic and gambling and affiliates? Actually, it's like I cannot go very deep in kind of special penalties or whatever, but you must think that uh, every vertical and every niche online has a different DNA. They they have a different. They behave differently. People search differently and sell differently in according to the niche that they operate. So uh, these niches like gambling and illegal and these more obscure niches like porn stuff, they tend to be more aggressive in what comes to marketing. Google is used to this. So it's something that has been established as how the niche operates. So uh, if you are gonna go to gamble, you also as a person have a different approach as you are if you are gonna go to buy uh, a chocolate in the supermarket or something like this. So if your behavior as a buyer and the behavior of the seller is different, so why shouldn't Google be different as well in interpreting these two different niches? So you have to think like that. Like these are very aggressive, and Google is used to this kind of aggressiveness in these niches. So yes, expect some different Google to be more sensitive or less sensitive according to the niche that you operate. You should not do comparison into different niches and expect the same results. So I think I answered all the questions that were here in the chat. Uh, if there are any other questions, I think then it's okay.
Any other questions, guys? Go on. Any other questions? Okay, well, whilst they're thinking, Peter, I will ask you a question. I promise I will ask. Do you like new Google logo?
The new Google logo. Um, I entered Google. I entered Google in 2006, March 2006. It was that embossed and drop shadow and with all the things that you could think of. and I knew the Google logo since as a serif font since then. I found it strange because I found the font that they choose is a bit banal in some way. It's like very ordinary font. I think they could probably, but again, they would probably want to be perceived as being very approachable to anyone, so they don't want to kind of make sense that the font is kind of ordinary or anything like this. So I'm kind of getting used to it. I think logos, it's when they change, it's always something that everyone has an opinion. Uh, and like with the market, when something is disrupted, when something's changed, human beings react. So yeah, we express our tastes. I'm still adapting myself. I still have a hard time sometimes recognizing Google with the new logo, but yeah, I'm getting used to it. Okay, guys, any other questions?
From a ghost. Because I can't see him, and it's strange because he's been in every single webinar so far, but he is here as a ghost question. Question from a ghost. Okay, Pedro, it's all yours. More questions? No questions? More questions? Okay, so it's like an auction, yeah. So yeah, we have couple of seconds to ask questions. Okay, if you will have questions to Pedro mentioned you can ask him straightforward in Twitter. You can send it to us. We'll pass it to Pedro. Thank you very much, Pedro, for very interesting speech today.